It's just so tough right now, and it's like so tough because like I'm raising my daughters in this, and it's like, what is it going to look like for them?
Well, it's definitely different than it was for us, but I'm wondering, if we're going to figure this out the way we figured out every other generation and learn from the mistakes of the past generations and get better at it. I'm still optimistic, although I do see a lot of fucking really troubling shit with the way people are handling stuff in society today.
Look, America, we're going to be fine. Like
allegedly.
No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. I'll put everything on it. We'll be fine. For sure.
You're not worried about China or Russia or any of this crazy stuff? You don't think like Putin is capable of like launching a nuke?
No. Where is he going to launch it? To us?
I think it's possible that there could come a time where Putin is experiencing so much pushback that he decides to go nuclear.
So it's kind of like here, right? Like it's, and Milley even admitted this.
Who did?
General Milley.
Yeah.
Joint Chief of Staff.
What did he say?
When he told China that he would call them before he nuked,
that was when he was talking about Trump.
Yeah. So,
right.
So again, if Putin himself was the only person that had to launch that nuke, maybe. But there's still if Putin launches a nuke on us, what's going to happen right behind it? Everybody in Russia is about to suffer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that that aspect is, that's why North Korea ain't rocked a nuke, right? These nukes, I just don't think, and maybe I'm just being optimistic. I just don't think that, I think people will do things whenever they're sure that it's not going to affect them. But I think that the humanization factor of, I'm going to push this, I'm going to support, and I'm going to have to push this nuke button or whatever it is, key or whatever. And but I also know that as soon as I do that, I'm going to get the first hit, but my family's going to suffer and everybody here's going to suffer. I just, again, they're worried about him dropping nukes inside of Ukraine. Well,
what he said, and this is where it gets disturbing, what he said is that if anybody supports Ukraine and, the idea of NATO moves weapons into Ukraine and points them at Russia, I believe his quote was something to the nature of, they will face horrors the likes of which the world has never seen.
So is he committing suicide?
Yeah.
So,
look, how old is he? How old is he?
Well, but that's something.
But how old is he?
How old's Putin?
Is he 70?
60, 70, yeah, he's probably
70.
70? 69?
69. Okay, so who knows what his health is like? Who knows how much time he's got left? When you got a guy who's a dictator.
But then you got people under him who have to push the button.
How does that work over there? Do they have a similar situation?
Somebody has to do it.
Right.
He's
not doing it?
It ain't like a rifle.
But if he orders the first, hasn't he given them orders to get close, to get ready? Hasn't he put some sort of a nuclear? What was his order that he gave out?
Up the level of readiness or whatever. I don't know.
Right. What does that mean?
I don't. Maybe they point them. I don't know. Maybe they get them aimed in the right direction.
But listen, the human race has nuked countries. We have. Well, not us, obviously.
We're the only ones.
Well, that's enough. It's just listen, it's not that long ago. It seems like a long time ago, 1947. But if you look at in terms of the overall time that humans have been on this planet, that's pretty recent. But if you look at Roman history or Greek history, a 50-year, 60-year, 70-year gap in between something is not much.
But you also had, we also had the support. Nobody, this had affected everybody.
Right.
And, nobody, we didn't worry about somebody rocking a nuke back at us.
We didn't know if they had it, right?
So now we know everybody who's got the nukes.
Yeah.
And everybody knows who's got them, who's got what. It's all obvious.
But that during the 60s, there was some generals that were legitimately thinking about launching nukes against Russia, against China, against Cuba. There was real talk about this. That's what the whole Dr. Strangelove movie is about. We actually talked about it yesterday. It really was based on real people that had these ideas and thought they were actually going to wind up doing that.
Look, anybody can do anything. People can do anything. I just don't think that, Maybe I just don't see when they're talking about nukes inside of Ukraine right now. But you talk about Putin literally losing it. He's done. If he drops a nuke, 100%, he's done.
Is he though? Because what if he says, I'm going to keep doing this unless you guys back the fuck off, but I did it once.
So what do you think?
What happens then? But honestly, what happens then? Because then if we go to war, then everybody dies, right? If we just launch missiles at him and he launches missiles at the United States, mutually assured destruction, right? You think if one nuclear bomb goes off somewhere, that would automatically mean a nuclear war, or do you think people would try to still negotiate?
Depends on where he sends it.
Right.
So do you think for 1 second, and I don't know, these are legit questions, right? Do you feel like he's going to drop it in Ukraine while all of his people are there, and that his own people aren't going to turn on him and be like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if he pulls out of Ukraine, pulls the troops out of Ukraine, and then nukes it, I mean, it sounds crazy. I don't think, look, obviously I'm not a fucking
I mean, obviously if he's pulling troops
military
out of,
analyst,
yeah.
I'm not a person to really,
me either.
But what I'm saying is, who the fuck thought that we were going to have a hot war where Russia invades Ukraine with tanks and jets and they're shooting missiles into apartment buildings? That's fucking crazy. And nobody thought that was going to happen just a few months ago. And now it's real.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm with you. I mean, we've gone into Iraq. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't see him going nuclear. And I just don't see,
I don't see it, but it's possible.
Well, I mean, anything's possible.
But that's the thing. It's like, it's not just possible. We're in a war. They are, rather. He's in a war right now. There's a real war. Like, Ukraine and Russia are in a real war. That scares the fuck out of me, man.